So you know you want to travel to Portugal, but you're overwhelmed and have no idea how to start planning your trip? Then you're in the right place. Hi, my name's Rachel and I'm a solo traveler and photographer. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to plan an unforgettable trip to Portugal, whether you're a solo traveler, couple, or family. I loved my trip to Portugal. The buildings, the architecture, the colors, the culture, the people. It was such an amazing trip. This itinerary covers the 3 main spots in the country that you have to visit: Porto, Lisbon, and Lagos in the Algarve, all within an 8 to 10 day period. I'm going to take you through how to get there, some of the most popular things you cannot miss. I myself went on an 8-day trip to Portugal solo, all without needing a car. I used public transport, I walked, I Ubered. Getting around was super simple. So if all that resonates with you, please make sure you like this video and let's get started. First off, how to get to Portugal. If you're an international traveler, most likely you're going to be flying into Lisbon Airport because it's the capital city of the country. If you're coming in from other parts of Europe, it'll also be easy to get a flight into any of the other cities that I mentioned. My trip to Portugal was part of a larger Europe trip and I flew directly from Iceland straight into Porto. Porto is located on the north of Portugal, Lisbon is in the middle, and the Algarve is on the south coast. So for me, I thought it made the most sense to start up top and work my way down. But you can start in Lisbon and go up and then down and do all that too, but I don't like backtracking. And then of course, if you're coming from Spain, then you can just catch the train. The best time to visit Portugal for ultimate weather conditions would be April through to October. I myself went in August, and yes, it was peak season. It was very hot, but the weather was really beautiful. It was blue skies every day. The shoulder season, May or September, is the perfect sweet spot for good weather and less crowds. Just to note, if you do find yourself having to go during the peak summer period, I would recommend doing everything outdoorsy in the morning before it gets too hot and before all the crowds come. That way you can chill a little bit during the hottest part of the day and then come back out later when it gets cooler. That's what I did and it worked out well for me. So what should you pack for your trip to Portugal? Besides the obvious things like camera, toiletries, and stuff like that, you definitely want to bring comfortable shoes to walk in. And I mean comfortable. There are cobblestone streets, there are hills, there are stairs. There is a lot of walking to be done on this trip. If you're going in the summer months, a light jacket is definitely necessary for later on in the night when it gets cooler. Next section, I'm going to talk about how you're going to get between those 3 major cities without a car. And the easiest way would be the train. So to get from Porto to Lisbon, there's a high-speed train that you can take. It takes about 2.5 to 3 hours, but the bus will be a bit cheaper. One thing to note, if you are going in summer, when I caught that train, the air conditioning actually stopped working and it got really hot. Now to get from Lisbon to the Algarve, it's going to depend where you choose to stay. I chose to stay in Lagos, so that involved 2 trains to get there. You go from Lisbon to Tunes and then from Tunes to Lagos. It's a really easy, quick change. You literally get off the train and then walk to the other side of the platform, and the train waiting there is most likely going to be the train for you. When I went, there were just crowds of people going from one train to the next. So you kind of just follow the crowd. Don't worry too much if that first train is late. For me, it was late and I was worried I was going to miss a connection, but it sits there and waits for you because it knows that everyone who's going to get on that train is going to come from that first train. The alternative would be like a Flix type bus situation. And that total trip takes about 4 hours. You can also catch the train into Faro, which is another good place for you to base yourself in the Algarve if you don't have a car. That's also the area where the airport is. So if you want to fly out of that, that'll make life a bit easier. Now onto the fun part. I'm going to talk about each of the 3 locations in Portugal and go through some of the best areas to stay, as well as some of the best things to do in each of those cities. Again, this is just an outline of things to get you started. There is so much to do. Like, this video would be hours and hours long if I included it all. So I'm just going to give you some of the top things that I enjoyed and some of the just top popular ones in general, and you guys can take it from there. time. First up, Porto in northern Portugal. I really enjoyed this city. Honestly, I feel like Porto was my favorite place. I spent 2 nights there, so I essentially had 1.5 days to explore the area, which for me like wasn't enough. There are also some day trips you can go to from there, like the Douro Valley, which is like the wine country. So if you want to do that, you will want to stay an extra day. The best neighborhood to stay in would be the Ribeira area. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's right along the river near the bridge, and it's a source for a lot of nightlife, restaurants, and just fun vibes. I stayed in this area and it was perfect, very central and very easy to get around different parts of the city. I'll leave a link in the description to the place that I stayed at. It was actually really lovely. It was above a restaurant. I would say the only downside is it didn't have air conditioning. When it comes to getting around the city of Porto, it is very walkable. It is hilly, so be aware of that. They do have some trams that you can use. Uber is available. I would download both the Uber app and the Bolt app and just cross-reference to see what has a better price. But Uber in general is pretty cheap in Portugal. The top things to do in Porto. Number 1 is just to walk around and stroll the city. There's so many little laneways and alleyways and beautiful streets and colorful buildings to just admire and take photos of. My favorite thing about Portugal in general actually was the tiled buildings, and Porto is home to a lot of the blue tiled buildings. That was actually one of my favorite things to do, just tile hop. There are 2 main ones and I will put them up on screen right now. I also recommend Clérigos Tower, I believe it's called. It is the tallest tower in Porto. There's just like some stunning views from there. I highly recommend getting there on opening. There is also a museum you walk through first before you get to the tower. So there's a couple things to do there. Another must visit, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan, is a bookstore called Livraria Lello. Sorry about that pronunciation. It's labeled as one of the world's most beautiful bookstores, and it's said to be the inspiration for J.K. Rowling for some of the Harry Potter scenes. I mean, she's come out and said that no, it wasn't, but it does kind of give Harry Potter vibes. You do actually need to pay to visit this bookstore because it became so popular. I will put the price here, and the price that you paid for the entry will go towards that book. Porto has a famous bridge that you definitely should check out, so you can walk across the top of it. You can even do like a bridge climb around it as well. And for sunset, I highly recommend checking out this Botanical Gardens area. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's a really beautiful spot that gives you a front-on view of the bridge, and it's great for sunset. Next up is the capital city of Lisbon. Here I recommend 3 to 4 days. In terms of where to stay, I recommend the Bearo Alto area. It's in the main area with lots of nightlife, restaurants, and things like that. And it's quite central and easy to get to other areas of Lisbon. Unlike Porto, Lisbon is a little bit more spread out, and it is harder to walk everywhere there, especially because there are still a lot of hills there too. And they do have a pretty good metro system. You don't actually need to pay for a ticket for the metro line. You can just tap your credit card. Uber is a great option to get around Lisbon as well. So some of the top things to do in Lisbon: walk around and explore. Just get lost. It's a safe city. Just walk around. Could be a good place to do a bit of shopping. Belém Tower at sunrise. I highly recommend this spot. It's a little bit outside of the main area, but you can just Uber there. And if you want to, you can just like stick around until opening time and go inside. Lisbon in general has a lot of those like funicular type railways. You can find them anywhere, but Elevator de Bica is the most famous one, with the 2 yellow carts going by each other. This spot was just really cute, and I liked the area in general, the Alfama district. It's the historic area. You can visit the castle on the top of the hill there, which will give you great views of the entire city. If you don't want to pay for entry for that one, there is a free viewpoint that you can go to. I will list them below. I highly recommend a day trip to Sintra. Now, if you're going to do this, leave first thing in the morning. Don't do what I did and leave late morning. You will just be doing yourself a disservice. Sintra does need a whole day, especially if you're going in peak season. The crowds were insane. The most famous one is Pina Palace, and I did really enjoy this one. It was very like colorful. It kind of felt like a life-size Lego palace to me. It does have gardens and stuff too. I ended up booking the last ticket entry for this one. There was still a bit of a line to get in, but as people file out, then you can just stay back and get get the place to yourself. But it did mean that I didn't have time to have a look at the gardens. So make sure you balance your time. Another castle that's noteworthy is called Galleria Estates. That's like the English term for it. This one is almost like medieval Gothic vibes. It's another popular one. You can go inside this one. The line was extremely long, so I didn't get to do that. There's also really beautiful gardens in this area. There is a spot called the Initiation Well there. I wanted to do it. By the time I got there, the line was crazy. I was talking to someone who was in the line and they had been waiting for 45 minutes. So I don't know, if you're gonna go there in summer, go in the morning. Decide if you want to see Peanut Palace more, all of that, and just prioritize that way. Then there was another castle that I bought tickets for and ran out of time and never ended up going to see, and that was Moorish Castle, and that one's more of a full-on medieval like castle ruins vibe. But my takeaway for Sintra is get there early, first thing. You can catch a train there, and then from the train station they have multiple buses that can take you to the palaces. For the last destination is Lagos, or like the Algarve area of southern Portugal. The Algarve is a beautiful, beautiful coastline in southern Portugal. It has beautiful cliff faces, rock formations, caves and arches, and stunning, stunning beaches. So if you're a beach person, then the Algarve is the place for you to go. Give yourself more time there and take some time away from the cities if you're a beach person. For like minimum 3 days is good if you want to do some beach hopping. Where to stay in the Algarve? So if you're not bringing a car, then I would say Lagos or Faro are the best two places to stay in the Algarve. I personally stayed in Lagos, and it's a very cute town. It's easy to walk around, close to many beaches. There is some public transport as well. They have really big bus coaches to take you to different areas, and that actually, I guess, brings me into how to get around that area without a car. And your options are going to be walking, but if you want to go to some further away beaches, you're going to have to either catch a bus or Uber, or catch a taxi. I would personally recommend Ubering over taxi, because the taxis, they can try and scam you and tried to charge me a lot more than necessary. I'll put a link below to the hotel I stayed at in Lagos. It wasn't anything fancy, but it had air conditioning and it was in a very good location so I do recommend this place. Top things to do in Lagos. Number one, and I think it's pretty obvious, is go to the beach. And there is an endless supply of beaches for you to choose from. There are so many. Ones that I liked were Marina Beach, and that one did involve climbing down some stairs to get to the beach. It is the start of a hiking trail that you can do. I wanted to do it, but because of how hot it was, I didn't end up doing it. And then there were two other beaches that I liked. I'm going to put them here on the screen because I'm not going to try and pronounce them. I also highly recommend checking out the Ponta de Piedade. You can understand why I have been trying not to pronounce these words. This particular area, it's near Lagos, and it is stunning. There are so many rock formations and caves and arches, and you can access it both on foot or a kayaking tour. So I'll link some of those below. I ended up doing a boat tour and it was actually really cool. Like, they really took the boat in amongst like the different cave areas. I'll link the tour below. It also included a swim stop. And last but not least, probably the most famous spot in the Algarve is the Benadryl Caves. It's a little bit away from Lagos. You will have to Uber there, but I definitely do think it's worth it. You have a couple options to view this cave. You could view it from land from above and like look down into it. The other two are by kayak or by boat. I ended up doing a boat tour from Lagos that took me there, and we just went on this like fast like speedboat. If you do a boat tour, you can't get off the boat. You do have to stay on the boat, but in some ways I was actually kind of glad by that, because I did the first tour of the day, left at 9 a.m. and by the time it got there, it was full. The cave had so many people in it. So I think if you're going to do the Benadryl Caves, I highly recommend Ubering to Benadryl and doing a kayak tour at sunrise, because that way you'll get the place to yourself and you won't have to worry about the crowds and stuff. Next up, you can't explore a country's culture without trying their food. And the number one food you need to try is a pastel de nata, which is a custard tart. Here in Australia, we do have them. They're called Portuguese tarts over here. Was really good, so fresh, so you could see them making it there in front of you. I'll put the name of that particular place that I went to if you want to try it out. Portugal also has a famous sandwich that you can try. I never ended up trying it and I regret it. I wish I did. It's got layers of meat topped with a rich sauce. The name of it is here on the screen. And salted cod is also a staple in Portugal. I will put the name for it on the screen for you to look for. Well, everything in Portugal, especially food, is quite affordable. I also would recommend doing a food tour. It's not something I did and I wish I had. Some general tips to note about visiting Portugal is that the main language spoken there is Portuguese, of course. There are some people that know English, but I feel like of all the European countries I went to on my trip, I went to 10 countries, Portugal probably had the least amount of English speaking people. Make sure you download Portuguese in your Google Translate app so you can use that if you need to, and maybe it could be worth learning a couple of the key words. For example, obrigado is thank you. Places take card, but it's always good to have some cash on hand just in case. And in terms of safety, Portugal is one of the safest countries in Europe, so you should be right there whether you're traveling in a family or solo. I went solo and I had zero issues. And that brings us to the end of this Portugal travel guide. If you enjoyed this and it helped you with your planning, please let me know in the comments below, and be sure to give this a like and subscribe so you don't miss another travel video. I do travel guides, vlogs, and solo travel tips. And make sure you keep an eye out for my Portugal travel vlogs, which will come out at some point. When they do, I will put them here, and I'll see you over there. Bye.